Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So this first verse of the Ishavasya Upanishad was the path of meditation, and how through the path of renunciation of the untruth we come to the seeker reaches or abides and comes to the truth. This was, and that truth being the experience of Lord pervading everything inside and out in this universe. And having explained that, now suppose this path of contemplation which was given in the first verse is very difficult for some people to follow, then what are they to do? Is there anything else for them? Or no, now you suffer? No. So for them, this path or the way of action, this second wave thought, the theory of action is being presented in the second verse of this Upanishad. Kurvanneveha karmani, kurvanneveha karmani, jijivishet shatagang samaha, jijivishet shatagang samaha, evam tvai nanyatetosti, evam tvai nanyatetosti, na karma lipyate nare, na karma lipyate nare. Performing verily work in this world should one desire to live a full 100 years. This alone is right, for there is no other right path. Action never clings to a man of this temperament. So what should these people do who cannot or find it difficult to contemplate as was given in the first verse? Such people should engage in action. And for how long? For 100 years. What does it mean? It means till you die, perform action. How to perform action will tell. But be dynamic in life. Don't live a life of despondency. Don't live a life of inertia. Don't live a life of laziness. Live a life of dynamic activity with enthusiasm and inspiration. Whatever you are involved in. Whether it is right now listening to a lecture, whether it is about cooking, whether it is about driving, whether it is about repairing a broken car, be inspired. You don't have to be sorry about anything. But get involved in life enthusiastically. That is the way to act. And here 100 years, some places it is being said that Shatagang Samaha, desire to live 100 years. Such a person who's continuously active in life with enthusiasm, he lives a long time. Another interpretation could be, whatever action you do it 100% or 110%. That means you are fully involved in the action. And how do you do the action? Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. This is a verse from the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Here the Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna how to act. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. The only right you have is to do the action. Ma phaleshu kadachana. And not about what result you are going to get out of that action. This is the way to act in life. See, when we prepare food for the Lord, the food is not tasted. You do to the best of your ability. Remembering the Lord, when we do some pujas and everything, and then the food is offered. Just now we did Diwali, people brought the food. Someone said, Swamiji, how is it? I said, you must have tried out whether the salt is okay. No, I did not touch it till it is offered to the Lord. And it came out beautiful. Whenever you prepare anything by taking the name of the Lord and offer it to the Lord, and this is my personal experience, every time we do a puja, you eat a sweet meat, buy it from the shop and eat it, it tastes different. Buy a sweet meat from the shop, offer it to the Lord and then eat it, it tastes different. Try. The food will taste different if you chant the mantra before every time you eat a meal. So the Upanishad is saying, oh man, you have the right only to act, not to desire a fruit thereof. And in this manner, this second verse, this alone is right. Then it says that doing this alone is right, for there is no other right path. Action never clings to a man of this temperament. A man whose temperament is, or he who is acting in this world without any expectations, to such a person, the action does not cling to. How does an action cling to you? Have you ever thought? As a memory. And memory about an action comes when you are doing that action because of some ulterior motive, to get a particular result or not to get a particular result. Then an impression is created. But when you act for the sake of action to be done, there is no impression in your mind. Because your mind is 100% involved in the action in the moment. This is called living in the now. The power of now, some of you have read the book. This is the power of now. Where the thought, the word, the deed all synchronize. And where there is synchronization, there cannot be any part of the mind left to expect something in return. In such a person's mind, no residual impression is left. And when you live like this for a long period of time, then because no new impressions are going in as memory, then after some time automatically everything starts slowing down. And that slowing down is not out of frustration. That slowing down is out of wisdom. Because every desire that erupts out of you, its cause is the vasana, the impression that was created. Now if no new impressions are being created and all the old impressions or previous impressions that were in your bank account, they are getting expressed and exhausting themselves, and you have learned out of making mistakes and practicing and fine-tuning your lifestyle where you are acting but not expecting, a point comes where the bank vault of impressions exhausts, no new impressions are being formed, mind becomes desire-free. In such a mind, in such a purified mind, the Lord reveals. The result of activity is only one, if proper activity, and that is purification of the mind, just how I have explained just now. If your activity or involvement in the world is creating frustration, agitation, depression, judgment, blame, argument, understand you are going the wrong way. If involvement is in the world is bringing about, and you must have experienced this sometime or the other, when on a particular day you are joyous and you just, for no reason, no people are coming, nothing is happening, no festival, no Christmas or Diwali, but just you just get up, I feel like cleaning the house, and you start. Now I feel like making a new dish, and you cook. You don't care. It was an act of inspiration. After the work is finished, whatever you did 1 hour, or you want to do gardening, you did gardening. Not because of any reason, I just love to be with the flowers, that's it. No, I have to remove the weeds, otherwise they will grow, and that's extra. We are not talking about that. You just want to do little bit gardening, not because you want to be fit, not because you want to weed, but just because you want to be with the plants. Then there is a sense of joy, isn't it? Mind becomes calm and tranquil when you are working with the plants. But if there is an idea, the May is coming, I need to cut all the trees. Trees means to trim all the bushes, and I have not done it. Oh my God, I am running behind. Now the roses will come late, and this and that, and then the joy of getting involved with the plant is gone. Right? You have put a goal in front of you. You have put an expectation in front of you. And when you live like this every day, day in and day out, exhaust yourself in the work. Oh no, I have worked for half an hour, now it's enough. Don't let that thought come to you. Work till you are ready to the moment you touch the bed, you are gone. But what happens? We work for half an hour, that also, or 1 hour or 4 hours with some expectation. See all these people who are working in corporations and everything, so much pressure is on them, deadlines to be met, so on and so forth. Even in dream they are thinking about their dream, like their work. Poor fellows. Why? Because they come back from work, at home also they are doing the work only. Continuous, just pastime, okay, open the computer and start, I will see something that has to be done. So they are dreaming, and then they say, oh, I'm stressed, I don't know why, how it is happening, I don't know how to undo the whole thing. I don't know how to switch off. Because you are not enjoying the work that you are doing. If you are enjoying the work you are doing, these sentences will never come in your mind. These words will never come to your mind. That how do I undo it? I never have. Like someone came and told our Swamiji, Swamiji, can I ask you something? Yes. Swamiji, how many classes do you take? 6 classes a day. 6 classes a day. And what do you do? What do you teach? I talk about Brahman. He says, I really pity the students. From morning 5:30 till evening 9 o'clock, 6 classes, 7 classes, that is 6 classes excluding meditation. So 7 classes, they have to think about Brahman, and how long will this go on? For 2 years. Oh, poor brahmacharis. They can never understand the joy of listening to this knowledge and reveling in it. Because they have they want a result. We don't want any result. We understand that the result is equal to no result. That is our goal, isn't it? And because of that, as the studies are going on through the 2 years, our understanding is all this is helping us to undo. We are growing out of all doing. But for him, how can you keep thinking about Brahman and reality for 6 hours, 6 classes a day for 2 years with no days off? Oh my God, poor brahmacharis. If someone was out there and asked you, where did you go? Oh, we went for 3 days for a retreat. On what? Ishavasya. And what did you talk about? Brahman. The reality, the spirit. What is there to talk about? You cannot think about it. That's what we are there for. And waste of your weekend. You just sat in one room on one chair listening to one person for 2.5 days. And what did you do? Oh, I went to Geelong and I went to Lorne, I did some swimming, then I went for a movie, then I went to the pub, then I called my friends over, and then the next day some other friends called me over, and then I played with my dog, and then I went bicycling, and then I had a nice sleep, and I watched the news and I went to sleep. For them, that is, the more the variety, the more they feel fulfilled. But that is a ghost fulfillment. The ghost is fulfilling there himself because he thrives on the variety. But what is happening here? Is the ghost getting fulfilled? Is the ghost listening or the spirit listening now?
The spirit.
Spirit doesn't listen. He is always. What will he listen? He is the cause of everything. The ghost is listening. But that ghost is understanding that from the variety that I was seeking, the joy to complete and be at peace and feel tranquil, that joy is not possible through the world. It is through having satsang and listening to this truth, where I can come to know of my real nature. This part has clicked. That is why you all could sit for 2-3 hours without even being aware that 2 hours have passed. So many times we have done retreats, we have done, never once you have felt that, oh, I think it is too much now, let me get away from this. Why? The joy is there. And that joy is not because you want to achieve something out of it. You may come with that thought. Out of habit, the mind sometimes thinks of that thought, that I have to achieve that reality. But every time you come to a lecture, the same thing is being told. We cannot achieve the inachievable because it is already achieved. And you are inspired to get to that point where all your efforts to know become effortless. Isn't it? That is what we are trying. That is what we are listening to. So here in this second verse, this path of action, here the goal which was given in the previous verse, to pursue that goal directly without wavering from the path, the seeker needs a lot of mental and intellectual acumen. And that mental and intellectual acumen is brought about by the purity and single pointedness. And that purity and single pointedness comes about by reduction of desires. That reduction of desires is brought about by acting.
So it comes with the first step, the renunciation.
No, it comes with acting in a manner without expectation. That was the first chapter. Now we are talking on the second verse. So that purity of the mind, that poise that is required to understand why a lot of people are not able to, they are able to appreciate what was given in the first verse but are not able to directly experience that, is because the purity of the mind has not come about. So now what is the way to bring the purity of the mind about? Is the second verse. We all know we act in life. But what is your quality of action? Is every activity in your life has a tail of expectation attached to it? Or is every activity an expression of joy and inspiration? You all have to answer yourself. When you eat, same rice and dal every day, gone. The nourishment in the food will not touch you. It has become poison if you have that attitude. If it doesn't matter, whatever the Lord presents today, I will take it as a blessing and I will have that. Amen. And you start. Now that food has become divinized. It has not become poison. The attitudinal change is required. And when this change of attitude comes, it brings about the beatitude. So such a person who is walking this path to realization, he must be light, meaning not too much of baggage. He must be strong at the level of body, breath, mind, and intellect. Must have a strong will. Should have an indomitable faith within himself that I can reach the destination that I have set for myself. And what is that destination? Where my efforts become effortless. That is my destination. With all these ingredients that I just talked about, for whom are these ingredients? For a man who is not able to walk the path of renunciation. And such a person must be also blessed by a teacher, a guru, who is able to put to him the correct interpretation and implication of the various thoughts that are presented in the Upanishads. And such a person who is not able to follow the path of knowledge, I have already told you, the desire for wealth, the desire for relationships, and for the glory of name and fame. These three are the obstacles which stop us from attaining the ultimate. This is the three avenues where our energies get leaked. The three Eshnas, Putreshna, Vitteshna and Lokeshna. They are the viruses. And in order to come out of them, we have to live a life of proper action, a diligent action. And with this, now the teacher goes to explain, this is not a part of the verse, but we are going to explain action. How many types of action are there? How many types of action do you think are there? Probably you have never heard this part. You have. In the 4th chapter, 5th chapter, 3rd chapter, you also have. What are the different types of action? Think.
Action, reaction.
Okay, good. Action and add a re in front of it becomes reaction. What else?
Selfish or selfless.
Selfless action, selfish action. Yes.
Selfless, dedicated, when you dedicate.
Yes. Good. So, our scriptures describe the action in 3 categories. First is unaction, second is inaction, and the third is action. The first is unaction. What is unaction? Unaction is a seemingly physical inactivity. What is this inactivity? When the mind stops and you experience everything to be empty. I'm not talking about outside, I'm talking about in your mind. Everything is empty in your mind, but you have not come to know yourself. So there is a veil of ignorance. That veil of ignorance is like a trance type state. Sleep is also a trance like state, where you are not able to come to know yourself, but you are looking at that emptiness in which there is no bubbles of activity taking place. No thoughts are appearing. Sometimes people who are on the seat of meditation, they feel their mind is sucked into some state, and even if they want to think, "Arey, what is her name? Arey, what name? It doesn't come." And they become afraid of it. What is happening to me? Am I going cuckoo? Unactivity. It is a dark covering which covers, just like the clouds cover the sun. This unactivity is a state of mind which covers the reality from expressing itself. And reality is what? It is self-illumined. It is more brighter than the sun. It is not revealing, it is not able to come through that darkness which is covering it or veiling it. Then, and this is possible, this inactivity covers the sattva, the purity, which is the self. Now the second is inaction. Inaction is inertia. Inertia expresses as 3. Sleep, laziness and inadvertence. Sleep we all understand. Laziness also we all understand. And inadvertence means repeating the same mistake again and again.
What's the word?
Inadvertence. Advertence. Inadvertence. Inadvertence. Yeah. It's an old one. But that is the only way this can be explained. I also didn't know this word, but it comes in the commentaries. Then I looked up. This is what it means. That we keep repeating the same mistake over and over again. That is inadvertent. Huh? So these three are inaction. When this inaction is happening, that means you are aware, you are conscious, and you are tamasic. Tamasic is this inertia, which is expressing as laziness, sleep and inadvertence. The only way to come out of this inaction is through action. Only way to come out of is through dynamic activity. And a man is made a person who's lazy, who's sleepy, who's spending time like a couch potato on a good for nothing, living on dole. For such a man is told, get up, get active. Then he starts finding, if a lazy person can also think that, yeah, I want to know God. He can, she can, why not? They have a mind, they also have the freedom to think of the divine. But as long as they are lazy, that, oh no, Lord, He's everywhere. He's everything. So what do I have to do anything? I don't have to do anything. Well, if you don't have to do anything, don't think also. Why are you thinking?
What's the difference between the first unaction and inaction?
Listen attentively. You will come to know. So, the only way to come out of inaction is to become active. Because what happens when you become active? When action is initiated, what happens? Yes. So, in such a person, instill some desires. Instill some desires. Now we are talking about action. So, action, a person who's very lazy, he wants to think of the Lord but is not interested in Him. If you take the name of the Lord, if you remember the Lord, you will get wealth, if you will get a good wife, you will get some money. And first the activity begins, it is a desire prompted activity. Then the texture of that desire prompted activity is changed to God inspired activity. And that God inspired, before God inspired activity, it is activity without expecting a particular result. And then it becomes God inspired activity. And this way, a lazy man, an inactive man is made to become active, and in that there is kamya karma and nishkama karma. So first it is desire prompted activity, and the second part of the action is nishkama karma, and nishkama karma is activity without expecting a particular result, without any expectation. When he starts coming to understand that everything that I desired, it is not giving me happiness, this conclusion he must come to. And everyone does come to this conclusion in their life. But the unfortunate thing is they go into depression because of that. So our goal must be that I want to know the divine. And when they get involved in the world, involved in the work, doing good for the society, charity, this, that, spreading the word of God, going to satsangs, reading books, all these activities going on. Then he comes to a conclusion when I think it's enough. It's getting too much. Then what happens? Then he continues to do the same. Somewhere, somehow, in some satsang, it will come to him that do all the activity but without expecting a particular result. Because if he is expecting out of this satsang I'm going to realize, and he doesn't get realized, he comes back more frustrated. And that frustrated entity wants to give up satsang, wants to give up taking the name of the Lord, wants to give up all such divine oriented activities. Why? In those activities, he had an ulterior motive. And that motive was not fulfilled. And the unfulfillment of that motive brought about the frustration. And that's why you find sometimes some people, I think I heard everything, that's enough. No, if you are inspired, you will continue to go to be involved in satsangs. And you will be involved in such satsangs where there is no binding imposed upon you. So, nishkama karma, expectation, activity without any expectation. So in this, then from this rajasic activity, so from tamas, inertia, from laziness, we instilled in that person some desires. Those desires made him rajasic. Those rajasic desires gave way to sattvic desires. That was the activity without any expectation, and then this rajas automatically transforms itself into sattva. When you practice action without any expectation, as I explained to you before, automatically the mind will become calm. Because the bank vault is getting empty, no more new data coming in, only action, 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 action. A point comes where the mind becomes empty. Immediately, this is the state of sattva. This is the state of sattva. And only in a sattvic state can the reality reveal itself. Sattvic state is a conscious state. It is not an unconscious state. Unconscious is inactivity. Unconscious is inactivity. Inactivity is laziness, inertia. Activity is rajas, which leads to a sattvic. The ingredient of rajas in desire-oriented action, the rajas is there and the sattva, the purity is here. And as you keep doing the activity and then those activities give way to activity without expectation, over a period of time, the rajas, the dynamism becomes less and the purity becomes more, sattva becomes more. And a point comes where you are dynamically active in life but not expecting anything, and a point comes where from this point suddenly the rajas becomes absolutely this, it remains where in the middle and sattva takes over. Now sattva is pervading the rajas, the purity is pervading the rajas, and in such a mind alone reality can reveal. In such a mind alone the percentage of sattva increasing means the mind has become single pointed. Raising in the percentage of sattva means the mind has become purified as a result of proper action. And that proper action is equal to action without expectation. So, here it says, Kurvanneveha karmani jijivishet shatagang samaha. So, this the tyaga the renunciation, the student wants to know if we have to renounce everything, including the desire to live a long life of useful pursuit, or is it that we must renounce everything of the world and must totally disregard wealth? Is it so that way? Because you're telling us to renounce? No, you don't have to renounce. I have already explained. Initially, if a person is lazy, that laziness should not take you to tamas. Inactivity should not take you to tamas. Instead, okay, instill him in desires. Go and produce wealth. The moment he starts producing wealth, the moment he starts wanting the goodness from this material world, immediately the teacher is there. He says, now learn how to produce but not be attached to what you produce. So what do? Whatever you produce, you distribute. Whatever you produce, you distribute. Don't keep it for yourself. You live on the bare minimum. Then alone purity of the mind will come about. And then what do? Then as you continue living this type of lifestyle, as I have explained before, the mind becomes totally purified and single-pointed, and then such a person is available as a result of proper action, available to himself. So we have to work for the work's sake alone, not for anything else, not for any purpose, not for any expectation, not for any ulterior motive. So here he who cannot afford to live the noblest life of renunciation and self-restraint must unavoidably live the life of intense activity, striving his best to fulfill all his desires through sweat and toil, and must reach himself to live in all enthusiasm all his life. A full 100 years, that was what the verse was, in the service of man and in the glorification of the Lord. When you live such a life, automatically a point will come. What will come? If you just take this statement, serving the man, serving the society, and remembering the Lord, a point will come that you will get tired of. You want to serve the man, you become the Prime Minister of Australia. You think people will stop talking about you? The news channels only talk bad about you. You make one slip of a tongue and that small thing becomes a big problem. You know mistakes can happen, but they expect you to be a superhuman person, and you know you are not. You may want to be. So suddenly a dispassion comes. Is this what I really want to go after? Even I thought service to humanity, service to the society will bring me peace of mind. It was an urge within me, but that is also not bringing it to me. Now what else can? And if there is a teacher's hand, if there is a grace of a teacher in that person's life, automatically he starts serving the society, but dedicating all the results and all the activity to the Lord. As a result, a point comes where the mind gets purified. Evam, thus, here it was said, Evam tvai nanyatetosti na karma lipyate nare. The Upanishad repeats, thus, to such a person who lives his life in this manner, actions do not cling to such a person. Na lipyate nare. Lipya means to cling, to entice, to be attached. Like a monkey baby monkey clings to his mother. Like that, actions leave a residue in your mind, and that is called clinging of the action. But when we act in the manner that we have explained, without any expectation, then the action does not leave an impression behind. When there is no impression left behind, there is no memory left behind of that action. Having no memory of that action, but you are conscious, is equal to or will bring about a purified mind. So, na lipyate nare. In this manner, evam, throughout all your activities, maintain this attitude. And it is also said, even a man of perfection who through renunciation has come to experience the word, clothed in Isha, must also work. How he must work? He works in this manner. Because we see Raman Maharishi working, we see Satya Sai Baba working, we see Ammachi working, we see Ramakrishna Paramahansa working. So many Mahatmas have, we have seen Jesus working. So many great masters have come and gone, and they have continued to work in this in their lifetime. The same work we do, we are within a moment we are able to judge that this organization is not good, that people are not good, they are what you call ungrateful people. I don't think they deserve my service. And yet, masters, they continue to serve one and all in the same frame of mind. If someone praises them, oh, what a fantastic work you are doing, they don't feel elated. If some people feel that, oh, you did not help me, you are only helping them, I think you are taking sides, and they insult them, they don't get depressed. They continue in the same poise, unattached to everything, not expecting anything, dedicating all their work to the ultimate. They keep plodding, keep plodding. That's why all of them have a smile on their face. Nobody is serious. Nobody's got the tension lines on his on their forehead. That inspiration makes one to hug hundreds of thousands of people in a day. That inspiration, selfless dedication to the society, remembering the divine, makes him a living God, so to speak. Saints and sages of present, even today, they are living gods. And in this way, don't forget our goal. And the goal is the Spirit, the Divine, the Lord Divine within. And this God Divine has to be experienced as present in the unactivity. Inactivity will, to come out of inactivity, you invoke activity, action. To come out of action done properly leads to unaction. Unaction, if you are unaware of unaction, you go to sleep. If you remain aware of unaction, you are in meditation. Got the sequence? This is the trick. This is the sequence. So what have we reached through action now? The same goal that was expounded in the first verse. But for whom is this? Those who feel they still have their desires in this world, they are able to intellectually appreciate, but are not able to apprehend the reality by its horns. You have not caught the bull by the horns. And the only reason that is happening is because of non-purity of the mind. For this, to bring about this purity of the mind, get involved in activity. And you are already acting in life. All you have to do is change the texture of that activity. Whether you are eating, drinking, walking, driving, listening, whatever you are doing, serving, change the texture, change the attitude with which you are doing it. Let it be a God dedicated, divine dedicated, self dedicated, spirit dedicated activity. So while I am speaking is an activity. If I keep thinking I have to remember this, I have to remember that, I have to say this, I have to say that, gone. While this speaking, I have to be aware of the point, what is that changeless substratum from where these words are coming out and merging back into. If I keep my attention on that, then I don't care what comes out. Because that unchanging principle is perfection incarnate. It cannot be but perfection. And if the attention is on that perfect, then whatever is expressed has to be perfect, isn't it? Then where's the question of my will that I should not make a mistake? So there is no guilt. Whatever is said is said. See? So work for work's sake and bring about the purification that is required in order to abide in that reality. So, see, as long as there is selfishness involved in any activity, the joy is temporary. When any activity is done for, and you all know that, do you cook an elaborate meal for yourself? Nobody does that. You may begin, I want to eat sweetmeats, and I want to eat dosa, and I want to make a lasagna, and I want to have 5-6 dishes. And then first day you will make. Second day, I planned that every day I will make a nice buffet for myself, and I'll pick and choose what I eat. But next day, you say, so much is left from yesterday. Microwave, put same dishes again. What has happened? So nobody wants when you do activity for yourself, you get tired of it after some time. So the inspiration to cook for yourself, first day it was there. If I have to cook pizza for myself, every month I make a pizza. Not just for myself, but if I have to make it for myself, I will not do it. Okay, what is available? Bread, slack, this, that. But, Swamiji, let's have a pizza. Then I spend time, I make the pizzas and I feed them. She doesn't cook such an elaborate meal for her. She has a sandwich, if I am not wrong, every day for lunch. And here, samosa, chocolate cake, this, that, everything. Why? Because it is not for myself. That is why. The moment you depersonalize the action, immediately inspiration comes. This is a secret. The moment you depersonalize the action, inspiration is bound to occur. As long as it is a selfish action done only for myself and the inspiration is very limited. For some time you are inspired, me, my wife and my family. For some time you will do it, but how many husbands or wives you see who are inspired about their family throughout their life? Very rare. But if they have depersonalized that relationship and living together, they are doing all the activities for a higher good, remembering the divine, then people say, "Arey, what a happy family they are." But the secret is this. In that family there is harmony, there is comradeship, and everyone is ready to help each other. And even if they don't, they are happy. Parents are. They say, "We have done what we have to do. That's it, over. Now it's their life. Let them do what they have to do. I have got no expectations." And such parents are happy. So, and when we depersonalize the work and there is inspiration, and inspired activity always is, there is joy and there is effectiveness when you perform that activity, isn't it? And this way, action do not, na lipyate nare, actions never cling to such a man who performs activity in this mode. And this may be true in godly perfect one like Lord Krishna. The student may be asking, this may be true in realized masters, but what about us who are ignorant? The Lord says, even in you, O man, here the word that is used is Evam tvai nanyatetosti. This alone is right, for there is no other path. And even for you, this is the right path. Don't become that, oh, I think Krishna was, it is okay for Krishna to say because he was divine incarnation. But we have seen so many masters who are still present today. So, cleanse your mind of the impurities, and those impurities are Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. First I explained the three, attached, the desire for wealth, desire for progeny and relationships, and desire for glory, name and fame. Another way of putting those impurities are anger, greed, jealousy, arrogance, etc. So get these out of your system. You cannot think of anger and get rid of anger. You cannot think of jealousy and get rid of jealousy. You cannot think of hypocrisy and get rid of hypocrisy. You have to think of something higher and grow out of these limiting webs which strangle you out of all your inspiration. No, I am inspiredly angry. Have you ever come across anyone? Jealousy inspires me. Have you come across anyone? No.
Excites me.
Huh?
Excites me.
Jealousy excites you. It sucks away all the energy out of us. It makes us into an important person. All these anger, jealousy, greed. And then afterwards, when these have expressed, and then we will, oh, why did I behave that way? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And then we repent, isn't it? Then that's another extreme and go into depression. So here scripture is telling us, Upanishads are telling us, and they have got no ulterior motive. They don't want you to bind themselves to you. They are telling you a way of how you can liberate yourself. Not become dedicated to Ishavasya Upanishad and then, oh, Ishavasya Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad. No, they don't want that. Their glory is in making you free. See? So here the second verse, the second wave which was presented to us is the wave thought of action, and through proper action we can come to a point of action done for the sake of action without any expectation. That brings about purification of the mind. A purified mind is a single pointed mind. A single pointed mind can remain focused on that reality, can think about that reality, and as a result that reality reveals itself. This cannot be recognized till we don't practice it in our life. Otherwise it will just remain information from the book into the mind, into the memory bank. No, it has to be put into action, and put it into action joyfully, enthusiastically, without expecting anything. Be clear of the goal. And with this we conclude the second wave, and now the third wave is what happens in case one is unwilling to follow either of the above two paths. So you don't want to follow the path of renunciation or knowledge, and you don't want to follow the path of action. Then what happens? Is there what do you say to that?
Devotion.
Faith is devotion only, no? When you are dedicating your activities to the higher, that is devotion. So what happens in such a person? Asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasa vrutaha. Asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasa vrutaha. Tagangste pretyabhigachanti. Tagangste pretyabhigachanti. Ye ke chatmahano janaha. Ye ke chatmahano janaha. Sunless are those worlds and enveloped in blinding gloom, to which all those people who are slayers of their own souls go, departing from here. This is the third wave. What happens to those people who don't follow, who don't want to, or who don't have the strength within, or can't find the strength within to follow the first path of renunciation or knowledge, and can't even find a little bit inspiration to walk the path of action the way it was explained without any expectation? We'll talk about it in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Maha. Hari Om.